Remember the George H.W. Bush? Or the Father Bush? What would the world of today be if he won a second term? Here's a piece from the Hill that I'd like to share with you today. Hello and welcome to my channel. Had Bush won a second term, the year 2023 could have been vastly different. Unlike his successors who wrongly assumed that China could become more Western in character, Bush understood that this was unlikely, especially after the Tiananmen Square massacre in 1989. Instead, he would have implemented a more pragmatic and long-term policy, which would have averted the fear of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Similarly, Bush would have been more cautious about NATO expansion and would have initially favored providing Russia with more financial aid. He recognized that Russia's history and ego could not be disregarded, as he spells out in detail in his co-authored book A World Transformed with Scowcroft. It is impossible to know whether Bush could have achieved his goals, but had he done so, Russia might not have invaded Ukraine. If Bush had won in 1992, the US would have had a different set of presidents. It is impossible to know whether George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden would have been elected. Moreover, it is impossible to know who might have run in 1996 after a Bush second term. There is no certainty that the September 11 attacks would have occurred, and without George W. Bush as president, the US may not have invaded Iraq in 2003 over non-existent weapons of mass destruction. While this excursion into the realm of what-ifs is purely speculative, the success of Bush's only term at least suggests that the world today could not have been worse off had he won. Unfortunately, Bush lost the 1992 election to businessman Ross Perot, who took 19% of the vote with his chart showing that America was in economic extremis. Today, no one on the horizon has the same level of background and experience as Bush, not even President Biden with 36 years in the Senate and 8 as vice president. Fortunately, no current-day Ross Perot is likely to tip the 2024 election by running as an independent. It is possible that Russian President Vladimir Putin would have been impervious to a second Bush term and resistant to any improvement in US-Russian relations, even if NATO had not expanded eastward. Similarly, Chinese President Xi Jinping could still have considered America antithetical to a vibrant China. Nonetheless, one can only wonder how different the world might be had Bush won a second term.